We asked for Medicare for all. Like we talked about this before, CJ. We're for nationalizing healthcare. That's really the solution. Medicare for all is already the ass. We can't get the ass of the ass, the public option, which is actually horrible. But we can't get the ass of the ass. And you guys think that you can like influence the Democrat Party to somehow be sympathetic to our movements? That's ahistorical. And then the exact opposite is happening. I covered this on my show, and I pass it to right back to you, CJ. The Biden administration is using the fact that the progressives and the left voted for him, even though he was running to Trump's right on law enforcement in order to pay the police more. That's what Jim Psaki said. They was asking and said, hey, they were like, hey, we was open about the fact that we want to fund the police more, and we won in overwhelming fashion on that message. So we're gonna do it. And then doesn't that like completely debunks the whole put by left crowd, doesn't it? Right. They should never be taken seriously ever again.
And you notice mainstream media playing their part with the crime rate is skyrocketing. You notice mainstream media is playing their part in that. Let me just tell you this. I don't believe anything, any reports, any numbers that come out of any law enforcement department whatsoever, especially when your whole point is to get more money. Of course, you're going to say the crime rate is going up. But why is the crime rate going up? Are you talking about funding schools? What about bringing opportunities? Do you think that anybody who's committing crime, let's talk about gang members down here at Compton in LA. Do you know if you went down there and you told them, hey, here's a job, $35 an hour, 40 hours a week, do you know they will say, sorry, guys, I'm out this gang right here. I'm about to go get this job. Like, you get what I'm saying? Opportunity is what they need. The police don't need any more money. How about you give the money to the people who need it? Defund the police, shift those funds to help these communities that are having these upticks in crime. So Liv, what were your thoughts, or what were you going to say about all of that?
Yeah. Let's talk the fucking root causes of crime, which is not having a livable wage, not having a home, not having access to healthcare or affordable healthcare, not having access to food or healthy options of food, not having access to clean water. Okay, so let's talk about those root causes and what's causing them. We need to break this down, and in order to do that, we need systemic change. We don't need this incrementalism bullshit that's been happening. We need systemic, radical change. And that's only going to happen if we completely rebuild this whole fucking system, which means a total revolution. And that starts, in my opinion, with a general strike. And I feel like we've been bubbling there. Like, I feel like there's talks, like we're like, whoa, this is so wrong. Progressives giving Biden exceeding expectations, like, and then giving him an A, like, what the fuck? And I think people are like really starting to see more that I know I definitely am about who the Democrats are and how they aren't that different from the GOP. So what do we have to do? We got to take the power to the people, and we need to get, what also blows my mind. So the power to the people, let's talk about that. We took to the streets last fucking summer, and we saw a multicultural class, historic turnout of protests across the country, across the world, against police brutality and claiming Black Lives Matter, and we need systemic racial justice now. And what did we get? We got Derek Chauvin getting 22.5 years of murder. We got more funding for the police budget for the Capitol, who refused the help for the January 6th riot, and then got more money because they were too stupid to take that threat seriously, because we don't take white threats seriously here in America. Well, maybe now we will, but we definitely didn't prior to January 6th. And now we're funding the police budget more, and we got Juneteenth. Like, no, we want racial systemic change. We want to, in my opinion, not only defund the police, but abolish the police and replace them with completely rebuilt. I don't think you can talk about rebuilding America without rebuilding every individual institution of the American system. Right. And we need to definitely look at law enforcement and how we provide those services of what we consider law enforcement. Everyone deserves to feel safe in their home and their
just think about it. I do this all the time. I just think about in your own lives. when can you tell a story when police have stopped crime?
Wow.
Like, just think about it. All my interactions with police have been writing tickets.
Yep.
Pulling me over because my hat is backwards. I had that. Pulling me over because my music was too loud. Like, what exactly do? They write tickets. They pull people over for no reason.
They show up after crime happened.
Yeah, and you show up after crime, and then if you show up
with weapons.
If you show up after crime of a person where the victim is a person of color, that person of color victim actually might become a person behind bars.
So my question,
they show up, that's happened where, you called me because you were in distress, but let me see you. Or do you have a warrant? What? I'm the victim. So my point being is that even with you notice they go, crime rate is going up. Crime rate, we need to fund the police, but the police don't stop crime. No. They're not. This is not the Minority Report. They're not there before crime begins. They're not even good at the job that they're supposed to have, which is solving crime. They're not even good at that. And I just don't understand it when we're talking about that. But Nick, what do you think about all of this? Any part of that you want to talk about?
The police state make morons out of the right wing and the liberal class because it showed the hypocrisy. And I pose this question: conservatives have not received the answer yet. I know you guys see my tweets. I asked you guys if you really believe in gun rights, why is it justified for a cop to shoot someone just because they have a gun? Over and over again, they use the fact that he had a gun, so we will justified in shooting him. So if the police is justified in shooting us because we have a gun, that means we de facto do not have gun rights. Yep. They were like, we need a hero with a gun to stop a mass shooter. So we need a good guy with a gun to stop the bad guy. So there was just a story that just came out where there was an active shooter and then a civilian with a gun killed the guy. The police came and then they killed the guy with the gun. They was killing black people who have literally gun licenses and gun permits to carry the gun, and they got away with that. So my question to the right wing, this is to show how you guys are hypocrites on this issue. Do you believe in gun rights or not? Because if you believe in gun rights, that is not a justification for them to shoot them. And it's just like CJ said, these are people who are not designed to protect us. You have people that have mental health issues and crisis. The cops come and they shoot them. Yep. So they not only do they not reduce crime, they are actively complicit in terrorizing our community. Because I share this statistic all the time because it shows why critics of defund the police are deeply unserious. Civil asset forfeiture still more money from the working class than criminal burglary does. Yes. So it's not only that they don't solve crime; they are complicit with actually causing harm to the working class.
Hey Nick, can you explain that for some people that may not be as savvy in politics? Criminal asset forfeiture. Explain what you mean. How that is? You're basically extracting income or wealth from that community.
So by all legal, moral, and intellectual basis, civil asset forfeiture should be unconstitutional. There is no justification for it. It's government theft. And what the justification they say that if you're a thief or a criminal, and let's say you were selling drugs and you made $100,000 selling drugs, they say you do not have right to that money because you got it through illegal means. So that's the legal basis they use for. But that does not hold water in how it applies. So they will literally just steal money for anyone. They're like, they may have got it through illegal means. But it's
suspicion of illegal means. Suspicion. That's all it takes. Basically.
Yeah, and then they go after poor and disenfranchised communities on purpose because there have been a lot of legal precedents where people who actually have resources, they don't aim for the upper class because they aim for the upper class, they'll get sued to death and they lose. So they go after the disenfranchised community, the people who they either can't afford the legal fees, or if they do, it will cost more than what they lost. So that's how they win, and that's how they continue to steal stuff from people. And that's why I brought up that stat, because a lot of people don't know that if you look at the amount of stuff that's stolen by criminals through burglary, for example, that's pales in comparison to how much that's stolen through civil asset forfeiture the police does all the time, just by simple stops. civil stops over BS. They impose the regressive taxes and fees, and that ties it to a lot of different issues like economics. So why is black and racial income inequality so bad? It's worse than it was at the height of the civil rights era. The reason why racial income inequality is bad is because not only do you have people who side with Wall Street over us, it's also the criminal justice program, because they did studies in civil asset forfeiture. 60% of the people that are affected are black.
Yep.
So what does that mean? That means civil asset forfeiture is a system designed, systematic racism, which transfers wealth from the black community to the ruling class. It doesn't go to our community, it goes to the ruling class.